Hey everybody, this is Stelly after with Closeout, and in today's video I'm going to talk about how to design a killer team retreat for a remote company. We've been doing remote retreats for over 5 years now. We started doing them really poorly, and we've iterated and improved on them every single time, and I think by now we've got it down to a science and we've learned a lot of lessons that I want to share freely with you today. I'm talking to founders all the time. Remote companies are on the rise. I think remote work is going to be will take a bigger slice of the overall work pie on this globe in the future. So learning how to do these retreats really well is going to be crucial. And if we can share some of our lessons learned to help you create a better company culture and have better team retreats, that's super exciting to us. So just a little history. When we started with Close.io doing team retreats, what they really were was nothing more than all of us traveling to a city and then just working there from the same room, right? That was pretty much it. We spent very little time planning these retreats. We weren't very mindful about them. The whole idea was, let's go to a cool city and work from a hotel room or an Airbnb apartment or house together, right? And have a good time maybe, after work is done. And that's fine to a certain degree when you're a really tiny team. For the first 3 years, we were just 6 people. But as the company grows, as your customer base grows, but also especially as the team size grows, you can't have these retreats where you just fly into a city, you spend a huge amounts of money and resources and time, and all you really do is spend sitting next to each other in this new city, doing the same type of work, having the same type of day you would have had if you were at home anyways. That's not really going to be that useful. So let's talk about some of the things you're trying to accomplish in a team retreat, and then some tips of things we've learned on how to do that well and how we structure our team retreats to share that with you. So in terms of goals, honestly, the team retreat, the number one goal is not to just get as much typical day in, day out work done that you would do at home. That's not really the goal. Actually, oftentimes I tell people on the team when we kickstart the team retreat that they should expect to get less work done than they usually do, right? And that's fine. The number one priority in my mind when it comes to team retreats for remote teams is to create alignment, to get everybody on the same page. This is such an undervalued thing in teams in general, but in remote teams especially. Get everybody on the same page, realign the entire team to a common goal, give people context on what's going on, what's truly a priority, what's really going on, what's really important in the company. That's priority number one, alignment. Priority number two is culture, is thickening the social fabric of the company, of each individual team, but cross-functionally, teams between each other, coworkers, just get everybody to spend quality time. And that's the important part, quality time together, get to know each other better. And so as they're trying to work, and as they're trying to get work done, and as they're trying to help other coworkers and teammates, they're able to do a better job because they understand each other better. And they're more excited to do that because they care more about each other. And they feel more valued, more safe and comfortable in their own skin and being honest and authentic with who they truly are because they understand others and they know they care about them as much as they care about their coworkers. Those are the top two goals. Team alignment and culture is really what you're trying to do. Sub goals from that is obviously for us to do some goal setting, to set the plans and vision for the next 6 months, and to make sure that we have important brainstorms, important discussions that are very hard to do remotely, to do that in person. We do 2 large team retreats every single year, so every 6 months, give or take, we'll do a big team retreat where we fly everybody around the world in. The team today is 27 people, and we're in, I think, 11 countries at this point. So flying everybody into a central location is key. Finding a good location that structurally is right for people to travel to, a city that might be exciting or interesting to visit regardless, but also a city that's going to be logistically easy to handle for a team retreat. All right, so let's run through some of the learnings that we have that I want to share with you. First, this seems like a small thing, but really it's a big thing. care about breaking bread. Breaking bread is a really important part of the team retreat. We do those for an entire week. And in that week, breakfast, lunch, and dinner are really crucial events, crucial moments that we want to be mindful about and we want to utilize. So what we often do is, we'll set up the hotel where most people will stay in a way that, the breakfast options are plenty and are easy to get to. Sometimes the hotel will have a really great kind of breakfast restaurant that's awesome. We always try to look for good coffee places near the co-working space that we're going to be in. A small thing, but it can matter. A lot of people are working so intensely, having these intense conversations and discussions. Being able to go on walks, grab a quick coffee or a quick bite or snack can be really, really crucial for people's sanity. We usually try to find a location that has a gym nearby or a park or something that allows people to be physically active so they can get the jet lag out of their system if they've traveled through different time zones, and so they can stay healthy and sane and productive and feel well in their own skin during that very intense week, usually during the team retreat. Breakfast is something we typically allow people to do on their own dime. We have one breakfast during the week that we'll actually schedule, in the sense that we will put small groups together and tell them, hey, you 3 or you 4 will have a breakfast on that one day together, and you're able to chat about whatever you want during breakfast time. Lunch is something that we're going to schedule, that we're scheduling out throughout the week. So we'll typically find a few good restaurants and places around the co-working or hotel location, and we will order lunch way in advance. This, again, we've got this down to a science. We'll have a spreadsheet with the menus of the different restaurant places, typically 3 or 4 different places. We'll try to be very mindful of vegan options, vegetarian options, just kind of like considering a good range of food options to make people happy. If they eat well, they feel well, they'll be productive and be happy during that week. And we usually order lunches, but we'll schedule them. So we will schedule the groups. We will decide which group of 3 or 4 people should have lunch together. And one big important part of this is that we want cross-functional social interaction, right? We don't just want the engineering team to hang out with the engineering team, the marketing team with the marketing team, the sales team with the sales team. What do people typically do when they come together in a larger group in a socially kind of scary setting sometimes, like a team retreat, an event where they live for a week at a different place, is they hang out with the people they already know best. You need to counteract that. So one thing that we do to do that is that we schedule these lunch meetings and we bring people together typically from different teams. So we'll have a person from marketing, a person from engineering, a person from support have lunch together, right? And that really encourages people to get to know each other. That really encourages empathy levels to go up, especially cross-functionally and cross-team-wise. We want engineers to truly understand how awesome our salespeople are and how tough their job is. And vice versa, we want our salespeople to understand engineers better and developers better and understand how to communicate with them and how tough their job is. We want people to really like and understand each other, so we need to group these people together, and that's what we do. And then when it comes to dinner, we typically have 2 big team dinners. One is the first day of the team retreat, and one is going to be on the last day of the team retreat. The first, so a team dinner where everybody has dinner together. And then, the rest of the days throughout the week, we'll have these, again, small group dinners. One of the dinners is going to be team specific. So the engineering team will have a dinner together. The marketing people might have a team dinner together. But the other ones, another 2 or so, will be, again, cross-functionally. With the team dinners, we will actually sometimes give ideas on what to talk about. So, what we did recently is to encourage everybody to share something about their parents and their upbringing. And some of the most amazing things will pop up in those team dinners. You'll learn things about your coworkers and your teammates you've never understood and never knew. I've worked with people for 5-6 years that I didn't know some things about their background, their parents, that really made me understand them as a person better. It's a really special thing to break bread, have dinner, and share something that personal about yourself. And although it might sound corny a little bit to dictate some of the discussion, sometimes it helps, especially with people that don't know each other that well. You don't want to schedule what they're going to talk about exclusively, but just give them something to start the conversation with. It can be super powerful, and that's one thing that we've done. So you can tell, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we spend a lot of time worrying about these. We spend a lot of time designing these. There's nothing left to chance here, and that's why these moments are some of the most important moments of the entire team retreat. They'll create some of the best discussions, brainstorm some of the best decisions, but overall, those are the moments where people get to know each other the best and feel the closest to each other, and that's really, really important to us. Usually, at the end of the team retreat, the last dinner will lead to a get-together and going out. That's when I tell people that, being social is not optional at a team retreat, right? You are here not just to do your work, but you're here to get to know your coworkers, to spend time with people. It's going to be an intense week. You can't hide from it, no matter how introverted you are. And a lot of people are very social in our team, so they'll go out and have drinks almost every night, right? But the last team dinner and the last night of the team retreat, going out with everybody is mandatory. You don't have to drink alcohol if you don't want to. You don't have to dance if you don't want to, but you should hang out. You should spend time. You should have some fun and invest time in your peers and friends. So that's kind of how we design breaking bread socially with each other, and I think that's super, super crucial, and something that most companies I've found are not thinking about enough. And it's a massive missed opportunity if you don't. Another tip that I'll give in terms of team retreats is that we found that one thing that's super useful is to give the team retreat a motto, a slogan, a sentence that summarizes the focus, a type of alignment you're trying to create, the type of problem you want people to focus on, or solution that you want people to buy into. So we had team retreats where, it will vary depending on what's going on in your company. But we had team retreats where the team had grown a little bit, and all of a sudden, I noticed that people would worry about small details that didn't really serve our customers in any way, and there was a lot of busy work that started to accumulate. So one of our mottos, and that was the first motto that we ever had at a team retreat, was aligning the entire company around this question that everybody should ask themselves: is this going to make our customers more successful? Or /N, is this going to get us more successful customers? And that was the big question for the team retreat, but it was also the motto I wanted the people to take with them after the team retreat in how they organize their own work and prioritize their own work. And notice that making the current customers more successful came first, and then getting more successful customers came second, right? Because that was the order of priority that I wanted people to worry about and think about. In the most recent team retreat, our slogan was getting back in touch with our core customers, right? As we'd grown our customer base and as we had bigger and bigger customers, we started focusing more on the point of contact that was typically an admin or a manager, and we were getting more feedback and we're spending more time with them versus with the end user, the salesperson that was using our product all day long. And kind of getting a little bit of distance between us and our end users turned into some small problems that I wanted to counteract immediately. So getting back in touch with our core customers was the big motto of a team retreat. Whatever it is for you, it's really helpful to give the entire retreat a slogan, a motto that will help people to focus on the right things, to align, and something that will help with the next few months of whatever the goals and the plans are that you're going to lay out. The next thing that we love to do, and I would advise you to do as well, is make your customers part of your team retreat. We are big proponents of what I call customer intimacy. The closer you are to your customer, the more you understand them, the better you're going to be able to serve them, the more value you're going to be able to create for them. So we want to make our customers participate in our team retreats. Oftentimes what we'll do is we'll visit customers during that retreat week. We'll figure out what are some customers that we have that live in that city that we can visit with different parts of the team, especially with people in the team that don't visit customers often. You know how amazing and inspiring and motivating it is to walk into a customer's office and see the software that you've been programming as a developer on all different kinds of screens, right? That's something you can't really replicate in any kind of dashboard. So we try to visit customers, get to know them better, and whenever we can, we'll invite a customer to the team retreat to give a talk or do a Q&A session. The last team retreat, we didn't have a big customer in the city that we were in, so we just we found a customer in that country or in that time zone, and we did a virtual Zoom. So we just had like a Skype call where the customer success manager that knew that customer really well interviewed the customer, and then there was an open Q&A session between the entire team and that customer that was on a big screen. Inviting the customer to be part of the team retreat is a super crucial thing. And very, very, very valuable. I highly advise you do that. The next thing that I would advise you to do is to record and stream everything you can. So all the big team sessions, we do all the big brainstorming sessions. We'll try to do audio and video recording, if nothing else, just audio recording, and we'll upload these in a Dropbox folder with the retreat title. In that Dropbox folder, we'll have all the important documents, presentations, audio recordings of sessions, and obviously pictures and videos and everything else. So the reason why that's important is, A, it's really good to be able to go back and listen to some of this stuff, but also, you know, some people might not be able to join the team retreat. The larger the team size, the more it's gonna occur that some people are just not gonna be able to join a certain team retreat. And that really hurts, that really sucks, and we do a lot to counteract that. We spend a lot of time trying to find the ideal location and time frame to get everybody to join. But in case that somebody can't join, sometimes somebody gets sick, or something else in their life really happens that prevents them from coming, what we want is, if we can, is we'll do a video stream, a live stream of all these events. So we'll have the person or the people that couldn't join live join via stream, but also record in case that they can't join via stream because they might be really, really sick or something else. We want to make them as much part of the event as possible. We've had one team retreat where we had 3 people that could not join a session, a team retreat, and what we did, just to tell you how important this is for us, we didn't just say, all right, well, if these 3 people can't, no, it was 4, if those 4 people can join, whatever, their problem, we'll just record the sessions. No, what we did is we created a satellite retreat. We found a city that they could go to logistically, and we paid for a separate hotel, and we had those 4 people spend a week in that hotel, having breakfast, lunch, and dinner together, going out together, working from the same co-working space, and then joining live into all the sessions that we had, right? So it's really, really crucial to make everybody be part of the retreat. There's no excuse not to go through any lengths as a company to make that happen. We like to theme the day. So you have to think about this. Every single day, in my opinion, should not have more than one team-wide session where everybody participates. That's how we like to do it. And then usually, you know, there might be the customer visit. So there's going to be a lot of other things that are going to be filling up people's days, right? So there's going to be customer visits. There's going to be team internal meetings. There's going to be one-on-ones, all kinds of other things. So people typically will only have maybe 3 hours a day to do their normal work. And then they're going to have all these other scheduled meetings. So you want to be mindful of that. You can't do too many team-wide sessions. Once a day is really max. We typically try to even have one day where we don't do any, if possible. And to give you an idea of how we do it, we have typically the first day is the kickoff in the morning, where we'll welcome everybody. We'll tell them what to expect during that week. We'll guide them through the logistics of the week. Then I'll do a looking back at last team retreat, right? So I'll summarize what did we discuss last team retreat? What were the goals we set? What were the things we decided? What were the problems we talked about? What were the things we wanted to do better? What happened since, right? What is the good, the bad, the ugly? It's kind of a nice, if you do retreats frequently, as we do twice a year, you want to kind of catch up with what happened in the last team retreat since today, to kind of kick things off and set the stage. I found this to be super useful and valuable to the team. So we'll do a what has happened since, like a little summary of here's what happened last team retreat and here's what happened since. Here's what to expect this week and what our kind of motto or the slogan of this team retreat is and what we're trying to accomplish. That's typically the first day. The second day is usually for us a values and culture session. So we'll have somebody on the team go through our core values, and we'll have different people on the team share stories of how we live those values, and we'll have people challenge if we still truly live up to these values, if they've changed, if we should word them differently. So we'll have a culture session on day 2. Day 3, usually we have a product roadmap session. So we'll have the product team talk about some of the things we're working on, how we're deciding to work on these things, what we're still unclear about, show some early features and do some product demos. The fourth day is typically the theme day. So if the theme is getting back in touch with our customers, that's what we're going to brainstorm and talk about or have discussions around. If the theme is how to get to a certain number of growth or whatever else it is, we'll talk about that. And then usually the last days are days where we talk about kind of reaffirming what is the vision for the company, what are our goals for the next 6 months, what are we really trying to accomplish, why is it truly important and why does it matter? And how can you be part of that? And then the very last session is an open Q&A with me. Typically during every single day, we'll ask people to send in their questions. So we'll collect questions, and then at the last day, I'll curate that list. We'll go through what are still questions that are open to people. This brings up another important point. It's really important to survey the team every single day on how the retreat is going. If they are heartbroken that something is missing, or if they expected something else to happen, or if they really feel strongly that there's a session or a discussion or a topic we need to highlight. Because the worst thing that can happen, and this happened to us early on, is we surveyed the team a week or two after the retreat and they brought up some really important points. And we were like, well, if we had known this during the retreat, we could have adjusted and improved. A retreat is nothing else than a product, and you have to have different versions and you need to iterate on a daily basis. So by now the team really knows this, and we really survey them every single day, asking and telling them, hey, this is your retreat as well. And if there's something going wrong, or if there's something you want us to do more or change, speak up, give us feedback. We can always adjust and improve. We want to make this as valuable to everybody as possible. All right. One other thing that we like to do is we like to do workshops. Again, you don't want to overdo this. One workshop per retreat is usually enough. 2 is max. You really don't want to do more than that. One workshop that is really important to us, for instance, that we love to do is a sales workshop, especially for all the new people we hire and for people that are not in sales, like our engineering team, but that are serving salespeople. Those are our users. Those are our customers. We want everybody in the company to have as high a sales IQ as possible. So we'll typically, at the retreat, we'll do a sales workshop where we'll teach the ABCs of selling. We'll teach our sales philosophy. We'll try to teach everybody what salespeople go through, how they think, so they can serve them better. Usually a team retreat is a good time to have one-on-ones, right? So if you do performance reviews, if you have direct reports or people that you're leading within your team, that's the time that we encourage all the team leads in our company to have personal one-on-ones with people. And I still to this day, and for as long as I possibly can do it, try to have a one-on-one with every single person in the company and just see how they're doing, see what I can do to help, just spend quality time, one-on-one time, talking about their career and work at close. We try to take lots of pictures, lots of videos. Since the last 2 retreats, we have somebody on the team that's really awesome at editing these small dynamic videos about the entire team retreat. And kind of at the last session, we'll do a slideshow and show kind of, again, the week goes by so fast, so much stuff happens. So it's kind of a nice touch at the end of the retreat to watch like a 2-3 minute slideshow of a bunch of pictures and some videos. Here's the cool stuff that happened this week and the things we've lived all through together. And then usually we'll use those videos on our About page, on our recruiting page, in our recruiting funnel to show and demonstrate the type of culture that we have. It really can make a big difference in making candidates want to come and work for you. So it can be a big recruiting tool. And usually the week after the retreat, everybody has retreat. What do you call that when you're addicted to something and then you have symptoms after you stop with it? I don't know. I can't come up with a word. But people basically have the need to talk about the retreat. People are missing each other. So usually there's a very active retreat chat in the company chat where people will share lots of pictures and talk about all the funny stuff that happened during the retreat, all the cool stuff that happened. So it's good to have lots of video material and pictures. Really, I think you can tell by all of this that sweating the details is really key. These little things matter, and you really want to be mindful and take care of people during the retreat. We have an amazing person, Mary, that is just amazing and awesome, and she's really the queen of culture at close, and the person that manages the retreats and organizes the retreats with me and does most of the heavy lifting. And without her, our retreats would not be as amazing as they are. And she really sweats the little details. We have somebody on the team that that needs to use a wheelchair at times. So thinking through accessibility and making sure that every restaurant, every bar, every club, the hotel, the co-working space, the customer visits, everywhere we go is accessible to a team member is something she takes care of. It just magically is there. Taking care of people's itineraries in terms of flights, how to get to the hotel, setting up people together in the hotel room, all those little things, taking care of people's needs and making sure people are taken care of well is something Mary does amazingly. And you don't notice it if it's done well. These little details, they're not really noticed when they're done well, but when they're not done, you can truly tell. People are pissed, people are irritated, people feel heartbroken, right? They might feel hurt because nobody thought about them and now they can't participate in something, or they can't eat their lunch because there's no vegan option, or because something else was not thought about. So sweating the details can really make a big difference. And yeah, the last thing that I'll say about this before I wrap up the how to do awesome team retreats for remote companies video is that the team retreats are so awesome in our company that people miss each other after the retreat. And I think that that's a healthy and important and cool thing. If you have retreats where people afterwards are like, oh God, I can't see these people anymore, you're doing it wrong. And I often tell people that, you might be, part of why you're missing each other is because you're not sitting on top of each other every single day. When you're in the same office every day, you start getting annoyed by people, might be irritated, you don't appreciate them as much. It's like family and friends when they're very close to you, sometimes it's too much, but when you're a little further, when you're a little further apart and you visit frequently, everybody loves you, you love them, and you focus on the positive. So the retreats are so powerful that a lot of people in our company have started to organize mini retreats, self-organized ones. That's something our company has been encouraging. So, a lot of times what will happen is if two or more people are at the same city, at the same place, at the same time, they'll just post this in chat and they'll encourage people to come together. So as an example, if I give a talk at a conference in a city where I know there's somebody from the team there, I'll say, hey, I'm going to be in this city. Who else wants to come? Maybe spend some time visiting some customers, spend a day co-working together, and we'll have these little get-togethers. But also we had people on the team that just went, hey, I want to work for a week from Hawaii. I want to surf during the evening. I want to learn surfing. Who wants to come with me? I can organize the Airbnb and everything. And like 5 or 6 people came together. I think this year, almost every single month with these little get-togethers, these little mini retreats, it's been a phenomenal benefit to our culture and our teams and people's lifestyles. We'll try to sponsor something little, maybe a dinner, maybe something else to make these mini get-togethers and retreats even more special. So I highly recommend doing that as well. All right, so that's it. That's all the tips I have for you today. I'm sure there's many other things I could think of, but I want to hear from you. Shoot me an email at stelly@close.io if you have great ideas, great experiences, or bad experiences you want to share about how to do remote culture right, how to do team retreats right. And if you have not yet, make sure to go to blog.close.io and subscribe to our blog. If you're looking for a job at an amazing remote company, consider Close. We really care and we'd love to hear from you. So shoot me, stelly@close.io, an email, or go to close.io/jobs and check out the job openings and consider applying. We'd be honored. All right, that's it from us. Now let's go and let's get them.